What to expect during your solar or battery storage installation. You sign the terms and conditions, you've paid your deposit. What now? So the first thing that we're going to ask you for is your MPAN number. Now this is a serial number you're going to be able to find on your utility bill. Don't worry, we'll include a little link. It is quite difficult to be able to find it. Our team will also be in touch to get further permissions to put an application into the national grid. Now this is case specific. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't need it, depending on the type of system you're having installed. So once we've had that authority form back from you, if applicable, we're going to put an application into the national grid. Now if you're in the Northwest, this is going to be someone like Electricity Northwest, could be Scottish Power. There are a few different DNOs that are out there. Don't worry, we're going to know which one it is. We'll then put the application into them. Now, different systems require slightly different applications. We're going to work this out internally, but if your inverter is 3.68 kilowatts or below, it's going to be done on a G98. Your installation is going to be a lot faster because we can just fit and notify the grid after we've installed. The majority, 90% plus of the installations we do will have what's called a G99 application. So we've got your authority form, we then fill in a series of complicated paperwork and we put that out to the grid. Don't worry, we don't expect a great deal from you at that point. We're just going to ask for your authority to do it on your behalf. We're telling them the inverter size you've got, what battery you've got, how your system's set up. The national grid then take all this information alongside that MPAN number and do what's called a network feasibility study. So they're looking at the age of the wiring local to you that we won't know about, the local supply transformer, how far you are away from it, how many people are wired into your local supply transformer locally, and who else has solar nearby you. Once they've got all this information and correlated it together, they will write back to us and give us what's called an offer letter. Now this offer letter will tell us how much you're allowed to export out to the national grid. This isn't how much annually, so this is not how many kilowatt hours, this is how much on a peak output on an hour by hour basis you can export as a maximum. Think flow rate rather than total amount, if that makes sense. Once we know this, we can then give you this information and we'll be then ready to get the installation booked in. Now the first part of the installation, if you're having solar installed and battery storage, is going to be the scaffolding. So one of our dedicated project managers is going to be in touch with you. They'll give you a call and they'll be looking to work alongside any other trades that are on site. If you're having an on-roof system, often there won't be any other trades, so we can just crack on and get that scaffolding installed. If you're having an in-roof solar system, then it may well be that we've got to get that scaffolding up a little bit early for your roofers to strip the roof off, getting ready for those all-important in-roof solar panels installed. We're going to liaise with other trades as well that are on site to make sure we come in the right space at the right time and we're keying in alongside them. Out of courtesy, just let your neighbours know that scaffolding's going up, particularly if you're getting close to the boundary line of your property. It's always courteous. Just do me a favour, knock on the neighbours next to the left and right of you and just say, hey, we're having solar installed. It's going to be up for a couple of weeks, just to let them know. If they have any issues in terms of where anything's placed, just get them to give our office a call. We'd be more than happy to help. Now, once the scaffolding's installed, typically it will be the roofing team that will arrive on site first, subject to availability, of course. They're going to start getting the hooks, so grind out little bits of the tile, and the rails fully installed. They're going to get cabling down from your roof to your new inverter location, panel it, install that all-important bird guard that stops those pesky pigeons making underneath their solar panels your home. Their next team on from there, and these are separate teams. We use separate roofing teams that are employed in-house and electricians that are employed in-house. The electricians will come along and they're going to come separately to install your inverter, and if you've gone for it, battery storage as well. Now, if you're just going for a battery-only installation, the grid application is going to be very similar, but obviously you're not going to be having a roofing team alongside it. It's just going to be our dedicated electrical team that will turn up. Your project manager will give you a call. Now, in terms of how long should I be expecting? Typically speaking, a grid application can take anywhere from 30 up to about 45 days, depending on the backlog that sits with your DNO. So it can be a little bit of hotel hold music from the point of signing the contract and paying your deposit until a point of where we can deliver it. We've also got to consider how new your technology is, because companies like Tesla unfortunately have a slightly longer lead time on some of their new products, which can just take that little bit longer to be able to get them installed. There can sometimes be a gap between scaffolding being installed, roofing work being installed, and an electrical team arriving on site and getting their installation work done as well. It will also depend on the work that's entailing in your house as well, in that you might want scaffolding putting up early, a couple of roofing repairs done before our roofing team works, and then there might be a couple of days gap with the electrical team. Typically speaking, for the average system, the scaffolding will go up on a Monday. There'd probably be a 1 or 2 day break in a purposeful way, so any issues can get sorted out from a scaffolding perspective. The next team that turns up is roofing. They might be on site for 1 or 2 days for a 10-panel system. Electrical team, again, 1 or 2 days for a typical system as well. Then there'll be a couple of day gap and the scaffolding will be de-erected. So you could be expecting a window anywhere from 5 to 10 days for your average installation. We take the time on each point because we want the perfect installation. It's really good not to try and rush it to get it done in those couple of days quicker. Instead, you prefer that time being taken on your install to get it absolutely perfect. Partway through the installation, because we're working with electrical distribution and inverters, it's perfectly normal for us to have to power the installation down for a couple of hours. And so our electricians will always come and have an open conversation about the best time in the day to power down. Once everything's installed, we're going to start by testing and inspecting it. This doesn't really include you at this point, but once it's been tested, inspected and commissioned, it's really important that you're there and available with a nice clear mind space, because there's going to be a fair bit of stuff for you to pick up. Our engineer will give you a one-on-one demo of how the mobile phone app works, what everything is, how it all works and operates. If there's anything you've missed, don't worry, that's where I'm going to come in, because I've done a series of videos that helps you to understand the individual mobile phone apps. It breaks it down how you set tariffs up alongside those and what tariffs to choose as well. I'll send you a series of videos after the installation that's going to help break that down for you. Each one of our engineers is going to ask you for a satisfaction note. This is where you'll have to physically sign a document to say that that's been handed over properly for both the roofing and for the electrical work as well. Once our engineers have got you to sign a satisfaction note, and only when you're satisfied must you sign that, the next step is we're going to send you our invoice, of course, because we need to pay all of our suppliers for the equipment. And then we're going to start the handover process. There'll be some documents that you get in quite quick succession, and we get a lot of confusion and sometimes a bit of frustration at this process. So I really wanted to be quite slow and break it all down for you, because it's hard for us as well as it's quite tough for you. So initially we get you the building control notification out quite quickly, because it's a nice quick process for us to do. We'll issue the MCS certificate quite quickly as well, within 14 days. They're going to be fast to get into your inbox. However, and I'm going to come and break this down in a second a little bit further, there is the G99. G99s can be a bit of a pain in the bum. I'll come on to that in a second. If it's a G98, we're going to send a series of commissioning and handover documentation out to the national grid. They will register your system. G98s normally come back fairly quickly. It does depend even further on that from operator to operator. So Electricity Northwest, I know that they come back within a few days. Scottish Power just happens to be a bit more painful. So it will depend on your actual area and location in the UK, how quickly that comes back. But as a rule of thumb, G98, 3.68 kilowatt inverters or below are fit and notified. They're quite straightforward. Now let me break down G99s. So we've at this point in time applied for permission in advance. So the National Grid have said, we're quite happy for you to connect the system to the grid. When we've physically installed it and connected it, we have to notify them a second time that we've done that work. And if there's any amendments or changes to that, you might have decided at last minute, what, a couple of extra solar panels, or that we couldn't fit a couple of solar panels on. We may well have used a different number of hooks and rails. So they'll want all this encompassed as part of the application, and that then goes out to the national grid. Cue the hold music, and this is where you're going to get frustrated, and I apologise in advance. Just be rest assured, it's not us causing the delay, it's the national grid. In order for you to register for Smart Export Guarantee payments, you need that G99 to be registered with the grid and the MCS certificate to be able to register for what's called an export MPAN number, i.e. selling the energy out to the grid. As I said, cue the hold music. It can take around, and take this as a rough rule of thumb, 30 days for them to come back to us. So we get this information out really quick, within a couple of days of your installation being done, and then you just have to be patient with us. It's not a delay with us, it's a delay with the grid. Because your system is bigger than 3.68 kilowatts, they just want to make sure your kit ain't going to damage the grid and isn't going to cause them any problems. That's essentially it. This is normally quite a seamless process, it just takes time. Please be patient with the team. If it's taking any longer than 6 weeks, feel free to give our team a call for a bit of an update and we'll let you know where we're at in the application process. From time to time, it can take a little bit longer, but your average is about 4 to 6 weeks. And as soon as it comes back in, we'll grab the baton off them and we'll send it straight over to you so you can get yourself registered for Smart Export Guarantee. On the note of Smart Export Guarantee, as standard, your energy supplier will put you onto their base rate of export, 4p. It's rubbish. Make sure when you register your system and when that export has been registered, you move yourself onto another tariff so you get maximum export payments. Around 2 to 3 weeks before your installation is due to take place, we're going to take a drawdown of funds from you. Typically speaking, this is about 35% of the installation. If your installation is an in-roof, there may well be slightly different payment terms because you want it a bit more staged around you and the work that's happening. But typically speaking, you've paid your 25% up front. We do a 35% payment, 21 days, 2 weeks before install, and then we do 40% when it's finished, done, and you've signed that all-important satisfaction note. Because we're RECC approved, we're always trying to uphold the highest possible standards. We'll never ask you for more than 60% of your total amount before installation. Always remember as well, if you've paid on a credit card, you get Section 75 protection from your credit card provider. And if you pay by bank transfer or if you pay by debit card, we will insurance back your money. Now, I'm not proposing we're going anywhere as a business. I've got 2 girls to provide for as a dad as well. But in the event the whole team got hit by a bus, it's really important that your money is always protected throughout this process, and we do that as standard. Now, if you've made a payment by bank transfer or by debit card, please expect an email from HIP Insurance. That's who we use as our deposit protection scheme. So this is where they basically ring fence and insure any deposits that you give us. Once your system has been registered with the national grid and we've had that back from your DNO, distribution network operator, we're then in a position to start preparing your formal handover. This is going to be all the documents. You may well have seen some of these come through piecemeal. We're going to put them in a really organised, neat format via a digital handover pack. We'll email this over to you, and we would just ask that you sign this to make sure that we know that you've got these documents. Keep them somewhere really safe. Some people choose to print them, but we're trying not to cut down trees, so we do it all electronically. We will also keep copies, keep those nice and safe, because if you ever decide to change energy supplier in the future, you will need those to register yourself with Smart Export Guarantee. So once you've got these documents back, you can get cracking on with registering for Smart Export Guarantee. We've done a series of handy videos that can hopefully help you with this process of picking the right tariff for you and how to get those documents uploaded as well. So hopefully, I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind, this is a detailed process breakdown of what you should expect from the point of order to the point of finished finalisation and handover. Thank you.